Welcome to our very first show of In the Saddle for this season. We can't wait to start, so let's get right down to it. Today we have Coach Jimmy Hampton, the men's and women's soccer team here to preview the soccer season, which is starting this week. This is In the Saddle.
Ball is tipped, there you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting star, and all the years no one knows just how hard you worked, but now it shows. In one shining moment, it's all on the line. One shining moment, they're frozen in time.
Welcome to the show. Our first show, we have Coach Jimmy Hampton with the men's and women's soccer team here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure. Well, the question for both the men's and women's program is on everyone's mind is, how do we look?
You know, 10 days in, I would say the women are probably a little bit further along than the men. I don't think it's that the men can't do it. I just think it's probably going to take us a little bit longer to sort things out with the men. But, you know, they're excited to be here. The kids have worked very hard for the last 10, 12 days, and we'll continue to work, you know, hard. We open up pretty quick, but then we'll get a little bit of time off to recover and learn a lot about our team. But the kids are excited to be here, and they've had a good attitude.
That's good, and they had to get here, what, 2 or 3 weeks before school starts? School hasn't even started yet here at USAO.
Right. And, you know, with so many kids from so far away that we bring in, that's a logistical nightmare, to be honest. So there's so much, you know, so many things that go on behind the scenes that people aren't aware of that's just not on the field. That, you know, we've got, I know Bobby and Monica are a great big help, you know, with the housing and Ned with the food stuff. Monica Trevino, Mike Capinet. I mean, there's just a lot of people, yeah. Coach McPherson. So there's a lot of people behind the scenes that help make us successful with the logistical stuff to get all these kids in. And yeah, 10, 15 days now they've been here.
Well, I know with the women, we lost a lot of really good leaders on the team, but we did just get word this week that Taylor Fain was going to be back for another year, which is going to be a huge asset. So tell me about how the girls are.
You know, they look good against New. You know, I know it's only one game, but really it's what we have to go on, right? We're only as good as our last game. And I thought after 10 days of training, and we probably started 6 or 7 new starters approximately in that game, I told the girls pleasantly surprised, which is odd for a coach after 2 days. You never seem like you're pleased, you know, it's not good enough. But I thought they were a little bit ahead of where I thought they would be, which doesn't mean we're going to win games, but it means we're on the right track with them. You know, Joe's come in and done a great job, Joe Yates and Kelly Korleski and Aaron Coggin. You know, those 3 have done a good job. Callie Cooper, another senior that I think we don't have a lot of upperclassmen, but the ones we have really assumed a lot of leadership responsibilities and brought the younger girls in, and their performance on the field has matched what they've done off. Not only have they been good leaders off the field for us, but they've worked very hard, I think, to demonstrate to the younger girls. And I think that's one of the reasons we might have looked as good as we did. Now, we got to build on that, and we got to get better, but I was pleasantly surprised. And some of the newcomers, you know, I thought Gentry Yates was very good. Raya Weiss was very good at center back. Wilco, who was a starter last year but has moved positions, was spot on. Linda Addo was very good. Brittany Sosby, I thought, was everything as advertised. So, you know, the list goes on and on. We've got some other girls we haven't seen finishing up some paperwork that we're excited about seeing. So we think, you know, we'll add some more depth down the road.
And the men is a pretty similar story, same thing, lost some 4-year starters on that side. So
yeah, I think probably the men's, if I was going to find a negative right now, it is probably the lack of leadership, and not a disrespect towards the men. I have one senior on the roster, and that's Chris Andrews, who just kind of joined us and made a decision to come back. And so, you know, when you're dealing with 30 kids without a senior, you know, the experience, you can't coach it, you can't teach it. And so I think we're trying to establish an identity. And I think when you have so many young kids, it takes a little bit longer. You know, we brought in some of the older players, not seniors, but some of the veterans that I would call. And, you know, we've challenged them to fill the role that those guys left last year as far as the vacuum of bringing the guys together and being a team and doing things together, and we'll see how they respond.
And both teams are preseason ranked in the top 25 nationally, and the men top the senior athletic poll, and the women could just come in second on the SAC poll. So we have some pretty high expectations.
We do, and I think it's a great credit to, you know, I think we talk about every year, but it's a great credit to the program. You know, you're going to have special years, I think, you know, if you do it long enough to where you get a special group that accomplishes some great things. But I'm glad that we're recognized as a program that year in and year out people have respect for us, as far as they're going to put a good side on the field. You know, if the ball bounces their way, they avoid injuries, you get a little bit lucky, and players, you know, do things, special players do things, we could have a phenomenal year. But I'm glad that people think year in and year out we are a team that is recognized as a good football side, work hard, very organized, very disciplined, and they're a tough team to beat. I think I would rather have a great program than have a special team once every 20 years. You know, I like the respect, and I think that's credit to every player and every coach that's ever been involved in it. From 13 years ago, it hasn't been overnight. We've worked really hard, and so we're very grateful for all the past players and coaches that have been part of the program that have helped us establish that. And now, as I told these kids here that are here now, you're carrying the flag now. You know, these guys have carried it for you and put you in a position, and now it's your job to we always tell them, we hope you leave it better than when you got it. That's our goal, and we hope they take that challenge and do that.
There's really very little time to adjust. We start off the season this week, just before school starts on August 24th, playing Baker, and on the women's side, Baker is 6th nationally, and on the men's side, they're ranked at 2nd right now.
Yeah, quite a challenge for the men and the women in a short time, and Baker has a lot of returning kids from the teams that I think the women were Final 8 and the men were Final 4, maybe national runner-up. The men might even have made the final game, but great programs. We're excited to play them. We're excited to host them. And I think that's a credit to our program to get a team the caliber of Baker that's willing to travel to USAO and play here. It's hard to, but when you become a program like that, people will, you know, they'll reciprocate and come play you. But you know, the one thing we tell our kids and we talk about as coaches is we'll find out more in a game against Baker than if us scheduling a team we're going to beat to know. That we know we're going to win, we can play bad, we're going to win, because I think that masks or it puts a Band-Aid on things that are really there. And so for us, what better way to find out exactly where we're at than to match up against such a respected program that's ranked so highly, and we'll have a whole lot more answers Friday evening, good or bad. Even if we don't do well, we'll learn a ton about our team, and the idea is to be really, really good come November. And sometimes you go through growing pains. Maybe we won't, but if we do, it's just a challenge we'll face and move forward.
Well, great, and thank you for being on the show. We look forward to a great season opener and a great season. It's our first week back, so we don't have a fan of the week. But to be the first fan of the week, go and like our In the Saddle link on the USAO Drovers Facebook page to enter to win. Well, that's our show. We're looking forward to an exciting season out of Drover Athletics and out of In the Saddle this year. So you won't want to miss a single show. Our shows air on Cool 105.5 FM on Thursday mornings, on Local Channel 18 Friday nights, or anytime on the USAO website. New episodes go up every Thursday, so make sure to check that out. And you also won't want to miss a single home game. Make sure to check out the USAO Sports website for details on schedules and results. One last thing, make sure to join the conversation on Twitter using our official hashtag. We'll see you next time on In the Saddle.
'Cause inside you knew that one shining moment you reached deep inside. One shining